Alright, in this video we're looking at input functions in Python. Last video we looked at the print function, which we did something like hello. And then we went ahead and did that and see we got a hello down here. But what if we want something like this? So I'm like, what is your name? It says, what is your name? Which that's good to print, but we're asking a question. We don't want to just say what we just said all over again. When we say, what is your name? We expect someone to answer the question. So we're going to have to do something different than a print function here. What we will do is another function, but this time we're going to do an input. Now, the always in your string, you want to go ahead and make sure you have a space there. So it makes a little more sense when you look at it. Now it's actually asking, what is my name? If you can see this cursor down here, it's ready for me to type. So I'm going to put fake name Jan. All right. So now it's asked my name and I answered. Other than that, nothing else has happened. So we need to look at something different. So this input that's asking what is your name, when I answer that, this whole thing becomes Jan. So we're gonna actually have to print it to know what name was typed in. To do that, the easiest way is to go ahead and save that into a variable. So now X is gonna go ahead and capture what the input is. So let's try this again. Well, let's go ahead and then do the print function of X, show that we've properly saved it there. What is your name? Jan. And it prints out Jan. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, well how about this? We can also do it like this. Print string. Hello. Let's go. My name is, put that space in there so it looks good, plus, so we're doing concatenation. And we're not going to put this input in there, we're going to put this variable in here, because that contains whatever we type in. Okay? So, now it says, what is your name? Jan. My name is Jan. Okay? So if you remember from before, we can go ahead and hashtag this, hash this out, and go ahead and comment that out. So now it's even easier to read. What is your name? Jan. My name is Jan. We can also do this. And let's go ahead and I'm gonna comment this out. That's the easiest way to do it. You can do it this way though. You can go, my name is that string plus, and put the input down here. I think this lacks the readability that the first way does, but this is a valid way. Put that space there. Now always make sure, see how it closed up in Thonny? Always make sure you have enough parentheses to make sure this thing is closed. All right, let's try it now. What is your name? Jan. My name is Jan. Okay. Now, this is harder to read, but with Thonny, we can use this little debug right here. And when we click it, these arrows light up. Step over, step into, step out. We're gonna step into this. Okay. So here's the whole statement of code. Okay, so it's going to print. Well, let's solve for print. Kind of like math. Okay? Order of operation. So print, what are we printing? And it highlights what we're printing. Okay, let's take one side of the plus. Simple. It's a string. And it says my name is. Easy. Straightforward. Other side of the plus is an input. Input of what? What is your name? Okay, so now it's gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna fill it in, Jan. Now it's gonna change to Jan, see? So now it's my name is plus Jan. Let's go ahead and step into. So now it has just these two strings to add together, which is easy. Adds them together, my name is Jan. So now we have a print statement of my name is Jan, and it prints it out. So that debug tool helps debug it, but also helps you see what your code is actually doing. This is simple, but in some of this other code, that debug tool is going to be a lifesaver. Now, all the IDEs have it. Thonny's just easier to use, but all of them have it, so you can go through and see what your code is doing. So that is an input function. Now, one thing to notice here is I'm going to go ahead and do this like we did last week. We're going to go ahead and define a main function. Oops. Like this. Y'all remember this from the last video. So now we gotta go ahead and tab that. Okay. So let's run it. Doesn't give us any output. If you remember from the last video, that it's one thing to define the function, it's a whole other thing to call the function. So now, let's call it. Now, let me give some space for confusion. Call it. So now let's run it. What is your name? See, we called that function, and now the print statement is going through. My name is Jan. The whole purpose in which I did that is just to show you that this main function has two functions in it. The print function, which contains in it the input function. So when I call this main function, I call this print function, which has to first do the input function, and then comes back. So you can power up the functions in your functions. Later on when we do object-oriented programming, you're going to see the ability to put functions within functions is going to be very helpful. Very helpful. Makes it a lot easier to understand code. Okay? Please like and subscribe. I am trying to put out as many videos as I can for everyone, and hopefully hit all the topics and put any comments or things you might want to see. Thank you.